couldn't sleep through the heat. Felt the daylight through the sheets. Plus I need to get up, catch my enemies and throw them all in jail, yeah!
And welcome back, my brony friends. This is Weird Al Accordion's reading of Chapter 21 of Close Bonds, Dinner Date, Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Let's get on with it. As it turns out, you did not see ponies walking around with cups of beer. You're not even sure if beer is allowed in the park. However, down the road a ways is a bar. It's rather old looking and seems to attract a lot of attention, especially from tourists. You and Rainbow saw this and decided to go check it out. It definitely wasn't a bad decision. On the inside, the place is like a club mixed with a saloon. The bar counter is made of wood and smells like it's been left out in the rain. In contrast, loud music booms from all around and disco lights fly back and forth. In the middle is a space cleared out for a dance floor. You and Rainbow watch from your stools as ponies and a few griffins do dance moves that you know you'll never be able to replicate in your entire life. Can you do that? Rainbow asks you upon seeing a pony spinning on his head. You take a sip of your beer. I wish. You set your glass down on the bar counter. Rainbow looks at your beer glass and then at you. You still got dirt on your back. You raise an eyebrow. Oh, I can't see it. Here, I'll take care of it, she announces drunkenly. She places a hoof on your shoulder and turns you around on your swivel chair so that your back is facing her. Then she proceeds to fall off of her stool. Holy shit, Rainbow, you alright? You ask when you hear a loud whump. The blue Pegasus just lies on her back, giggling. I'm so drunk. You're so drunk, you repeat, shaking your head. You notice a few nearby ponies starting to look away from the scene and returning to whatever they've been doing previously. You crouch down beside the giggling pony, taking her hooves and lifting her up onto a standing position. She's fine on all fours, just needs to lean against you every once in a while for support. The two of you slowly make your way for the exit, when the music abruptly stops and a voice comes on over the speakers. We're gonna let these skilled gentle people take a break now, as we switch the mood from Iraq to romantic. Can I please have any couple step onto the dance floor? Are we gonna do that? Rainbow looks at you expectantly. I wanna do that. You frown. What? Rainbow, you're drunk as a skunk. How are we even gonna dance? I can stand just fine. You shake your head. No, come on. We're going to go back to the castle. Please? Your drunk date wraps her forelegs around your leg and falls onto her stomach. We'll go right back after this. I promise. You look at Rainbow, then to the dance floor. There are a surprising amount of people there, and as the lights begin to dim, it looks as if they're about to start. You roll your eyes. Fine, we'll do it. Her eyes light up, and she smiles, and hugs her leg even tighter. I loves you, Ivan. You're drunk. Come on, they're starting without us. The music has already begun playing by the time the two of you step into the middle. Looking down at the little pony in front of you, you suddenly realize that there's a rather large problem. Dash seems to be thinking the same thing as you are. Ivan, how are we going to do this? You glance around at all the other equine couples. They dance by simply crossing their necks, sometimes with one or both partners putting a foreleg around the other's shoulder. You're not sure if that's feasible in your situation, but it does, however, give you an idea. You kneel down in front of the Pegasus until you've come to eye level with her. She watches you curiously. You take one of her forehooves. Her cheeks start to redden at this, and you ask her for her other hoof. Why? She asks. Just watch, you say. Hesitantly, she does as you request, and both forehooves are on your hands. She wobbles slightly at first, until she gets used to being on two legs. Ready, you ask? She's figured out what you're doing by now and nods. Together, the two of you rise, you directing her with your hands and her doing her best, just trying not to fall over. Whoa! Dash dances around on her hind legs, trying to get her balance. She flails her forelegs around and ends up stumbling into you, her face embedded in your chest. She blushes, putting her hooves on your lower ribcage to put some distance between the two of you. Sorry, I almost fell down. Well, in any case, I think this'll work. You refer to the way she's still using you for support. You place your hands just above her hips and she squeaks. Are you alright? You ask, hiding a small smile. She nods, the redness on her cheeks deepening. Yeah, I just didn't expect that. Is that how humans dance? You nod, except you want to move your hooves up here to my shoulder. You place 2 forelegs to rest on either side of your head, drawing Rainbow closer to you. There we go. You step to one side. She stumbles over herself, but soon adjusts so that she's standing straight once more. You make the same movement again, and she gets it this time, following along with you. A few more steps, and the two of you are getting into the swing of it. Quite well for a drunk Pegasus on 2 hooves, clinging to a man who's barely danced before in his life. This is weird, Rainbow remarks at some point. You query her on that. What's so weird? Standing on 2 legs and dancing like this. She looks at you, then casts her gaze downward. Avoiding any looks you might give her, you chuckle. If you don't like this, I suppose we could try something else. She seems to like this idea and nods. Like you've seen in the movies, you wrap your arm right around her waist and pull her body tight up against yours. Better? She lets out a gasp in surprise. You feel her chest expand and contract with every breath, soft but warm gusts of wind washing over your neck each time. She stares up at you for a moment, her eyes dulled from the beer, yet managing to retain an intrigued glint of sorts. Suddenly, her forelegs move around your shoulders and wrap around your neck, pulling you down into a drunken smooch. She closes her eyes, hanging off you, and melting into your embrace at the same time. The two of you stay like that until you hear the music begin to slow down, Rainbow being the first one to break the kiss. The two of you continue to swim in each other's eyes for a little while longer. She's only about a foot shorter than you, standing upright, so you still feel her panting on your cheeks. A welcome contrast to the stinging cold you felt not too long ago. Thanks for letting me dance, she says. You chuckle. No problem here. She giggles as well, then drops back down to all fours. I guess we should go back to the castle now. I don't know if they have a curfew. You stop when you realize that Rainbow is once again on her back, giggling almost hysterically. You shake your head, then scoop her up into your arms and begin the trek back. As she seems to do on all of your walks, Rainbow proves to be a rather generous source of entertainment. Wait, we should go back to that place with the clouds again, she says, kicking her legs and craning her neck to get a good look at the gate of the park while you pass it. No. She turns to face you, wearing a cross frown. Why not? You said we'd go as soon as we got done dancing. I said we'd go, not back, she tries to argue. Immediately after this, it seems as if she's suddenly forgotten what the two of you were talking about, when her eyelids begin to droop in a half-lidded fashion, and she bites her lip. What are we gonna do when we get back to the castle, You're rather amused by this behavior. What do you think we're gonna do when we get back? She bops you on the nose lightly. What do you think we're gonna do when we get back? Belly rubs, you reply. You notice that a small part of her chest peeks out of the dress that she's wearing. Included in this portion of her body is a small patch of extra fur you'd notice. Recalling your earlier curiosity, you have to ask, Rainbow, what is that? She looks as if she's trying to make her neck longer. Your chest. Why is it fluffy in the middle like that? You reach your hand through the space between her foreleg and her body and indicate to her by running your fingers through the extra soft fur. Oh, that, she smiles. I did that for you. You did, huh? You have a feeling that you're going to need to ask again when she's sober. Yeah, it means I love you, Ivan. She gives you a look meant to confirm this, then passes out immediately afterwards. The rest of the walk back is considerably quiet. You show the guards your clearance cards, they open the gates, and you eventually find your way back to your room. After trying to juggle the task of unlocking the door while holding a sleeping Pegasus, you walk inside and place Rainbow down on the princess-sized mattress. For a few moments you stand there at the side of the bed, looking upon your sleeping beauty, splayed out on her side. Despite knowing how rambunctious she can be at sometimes, right now she looks so fragile. Her chest rises and falls with every shallow breath, the little fluff of fur that's been bugging you going along with it. You run your hand through it, enjoying the warmth of her small pony body, and kiss her on her forehead. Oh, it seems we've reached an NSFW moment. You know what that means. Human X pony sex, so if you don't like that, you're not into that, then cover your ears now, and I'll tell you when you can come back on, I guess. Anyway, I'll be going into the dark depths of pony X-human fetish. You walk into the other room and look at the mirror. You sigh. Your suit is a mess. You're a mess. There are grass stains all over your ass, mud on your elbows and thighs, dirt on your face, and it's all complete with a rat's nest atop your head. You start to undress, beginning with your slacks. You're hoping they're not too badly damaged, and that maybe you can take them to Rarity. You feel a tap on your lower back. You turn around and suddenly find yourself locking lips with the only rainbow-maned pony you know. Her forelegs are wrapped tightly around your neck, and she vigorously attacks the entrance of your mouth with her tongue. You allow her access, and the two of you begin the blissful exploration of each other's malls. Again, she's the one to break the kiss, but quickly bites on your tie and drags you back into the bedroom. Well, it looks like she can walk now, at least. She gets you past the door, but not all the way to the bed because her reckless yanking on the tie undoes it. Even so, physics dictates that there's no possible way for you to be standing straight up while the little pony pulls you around by your tie. So when she sees you on your hands and knees in front of her, she gets ideas. "Ivan," she coos, dropping the tie and walking sultry-like towards you. "Do you know what the twist is?" "The twist? Oh boy." "Yeah," she confirms. "It's where I get under you, and you lick the inside of my vagina." She gets real close to you, close enough to taste the alcohol in her breath. "And I swallow your dick." The pony version of 69ing, you realize. Rainbow Dash closes the gap between you, going for the long, drawn-out tongue dance. When she lets go, a small strand of saliva connecting the two of you falls to the ground. She smiles half-liddedly, turns around and lies on her back in front of you. "Come on, Ivan," she mews. Her legs open up, revealing her tiny little pink slit. "Climb on." How convenient is it that dress doesn't cover that up, is all you can think about. You crawl over to her on your hands and knees, letting your covered crotch hang over her face. You look down at your winking prize below, making the bulge in your pants become even tighter. You feel Rainbow start to fumble with your pants, cursing at the unfamiliar belt buckle. Simultaneously, you lean down, giving the outside edge of her vagina a quick lap of your tongue. You feel her shudder, losing her grip. You slag your tongue on the outer part of her mound again, but this time she's ready. She continues to steadily work at your buckle, finally getting it off by the time her slit has received a full once-over and is glistening on the outside. For her, the rest of your clothes are just muscle memory. Once you feel your boxers slip down and your dick slap her in the face, you begin to dig in. Her legs tense up, her slit tightening around your tongue as you lick her sweet inner walls. You drop to your elbows and begin to lovingly knead her inner thighs, the combined workings on her body causing her to moan a bit. Despite how many times you've done this dance with her, you can never get over how good she tastes. She's so sweet, not like honey, but more like candy, with just a tiny, bitter aftertaste that adds to the flavor. You begin to wonder when she's going to start, when you finally feel her hot, moist breath on the tip of your penis. First the tongue, and then the mouth envelop the top half of your pride, sending waves of pleasure up and down your spine. She sucks vigorously, trying to make up for lost time. She actually almost catches up with you. You feel a bit of pre-cum spurt out, making your urethra slightly more sensitive than before. Yet no matter how fast she goes to live up to her reputation, neither of you can deny the way she sporadically tenses, how her marehood sucks at and tries to engulf your tongue. Even though deep-throating and swallowing at your rod, you can hear her muffled moans. Her chest convulses with the excitement and tension building up within her. You release it all with one small press of her nub. She pulls herself off of your rod, wailing to the high heavens as hot streams of sweet juice stream forth from her love canal. Her hips buck upwards and her legs wrap around your head, pressing your face into her puffy lips, the sweet jets of sex juice squirting into your open mouth. You feel her warmth flow against your tongue, lapping her generous offering up greedily. And you show your love for the mare by drinking it all. She's left with her legs wrapped around the back of your head, riding out the last of her orgasm. Her legs start to quiver and soon release you. Her back end hits the ground with a thud, leaving her to just lie on the ground beneath you, panting. Something that bugs you, however, is that you're still hard enough to cut diamonds, and feeling quite unsatisfied. You look beneath you to see her with her eyes closed, resting. Her mouth hangs open, and above it your penis looms over her head like an awaiting pile driver. It's mean, but... You plunge your trunk straight into her maw. Her eyes shoot open, and she starts to gag, but you remove yourself from her. Strands of saliva hang off your dick as she sputters and coughs, wiping her mouth with her foreleg. You feel kind of bad now. "Sorry, Dash. I thought you were ready." "No," she gasped, coughing up a little. "I want it. Do it again, please." You question it a little. She wants to suck you off. Why argue? So once more you insert yourself into the nearest open hole. This time she's ready for it, and as soon as your tip reaches her supple mouth, she immediately begins swirling her tongue around it, the almost unbearable pleasure causing you to groan and arch your back. You slide your whole penis deeper and deeper into her mouth, and she takes it in without the slightest hint of trouble. The base of your dick is soon the only thing exposed, and when you feel yourself hit the back of her throat, she begins to swallow, tightening her gullet around you. You groan, feeling the familiar pressure building up. You decide to see how far you can push it, and begin rocking your hips back and forth. She realizes what you're doing, and at one point, while you're pulling back, she tightens her lips around your hard member and sucks as hard as she can. It feels like a hot suction pulling at your dick, and your penis slides out up to the tip. You feel yourself about to come. Right then, Rainbow decides to let go and slips out from underneath you. You groan, the feeling of an orgasm interrupted, making itself known as the unspent pressure resting on the tip of your dick. You glare at the Pegasus, who's just gotten onto all fours and is turned over the other way. Rainbow, what are you... You stop when you see her turn her head back towards you, flicking her tail underneath her dress she's wearing. She fixes you with a sultry gaze. I need help with my dress. As if compelled by some invisible force, you immediately clamber towards her, throwing off your loosened tie and kicking off the final clinging remnants of your pants as you go. You kneel down beside her and begin to tug at the side of the dress. She shakes her head. No, Ivan. You'll rip it that way. You have to undo it from the front. She touches the zigzag jewel on the front of her dress. Right here. You try to undo it, but have little success from the side of her body. You reach over and around her neck, your chest touching her back through your shirt and your blood-filled phallus twitching against her thigh. With a click, the front comes undone. You remove yourself from her and begin to slowly undrape the gown from around her body. Your fingers brush along her cutie mark on one side, causing both of you a small shiver. You get the view from behind. She looks so nice without her clothes on. Her tail flicks to the side, fully revealing her dripping marehood. She looks back at you, smiling. Stick it in. You almost come a little from those words alone. You rise to your feet, taking a good look at the beautiful male before you. She still does her best to display her neck, which is one of her funniest places to draw attention to at the moment. Still, it's cute. Her slender, maybe slightly softer than a few months ago body leads down to her firm but squeezable ass and gorgeous marehood. You stoop down a little, placing your hands along with your weight onto her back. The extra pressure causes her to arch her back a little, and in turn spreads her ass cheeks. On complete primal instinct, you start to work your dick up her butthole. She moans loudly, her legs quibbling from excitement and drooping slightly. As you begin to fuck her tight insides, you lay yourself over her back and begin to suck on the base of that neck she oh so likes to show off. Her cheeks are a deep red, squeaks and moans and all manner of noises coming from her. Since you're already close when you went in, you can feel the immense pressure build up and then quickly gush forth as hot spurts of cum. As you ride out the orgasm, the sperm provides a good source of lubricant, allowing you to pound faster and harder in her tight asshole. The slapping noise echoes around the room from your crotch area, smacking into her ass cheeks, as you begin to wonder how rainbow saliva even worked well enough to let you enter. You keep going for a few more moments, gripping your chest area with your hands as she continues to gasp and pant. Somehow you notice your jacket came off in all that action, leaving you with only your white undershirt. When you finally pull out, she collapses with you on top of her. Earning groans from the both of you, she chuckles. You're not sticking that thing in my mouth again. Not tonight, she says, drawing forth a humorous snort from you. You roll off of her and gaze into her eyes. The two of you stay like that, having an unsaid agreement not to kiss at the moment due to the circumstances. Your eyelids begin to droop, and with the dimness that follows you drift off to sleep. You awaken not too long after to the feeling of your shirt being yanked off. You feel it drag on your ears, creating quite an unpleasant sensation when coupled with the slight chill you get from being completely naked. You groan and turn over onto your stomach. A pair of herbivore teeth begins nipping at your ear, disallowing you to fall back into unconsciousness. You lift your head and open your eyes, expecting to see a glaring assault from the lights. Instead, you find that the room is dimly lit, with candles. You groggily look around to where you know the Pegasus is, giving her a sleepy smile. Scented candles. Smells good. She smirks. I know. Get up. You look around for a moment, waiting for yourself to become a little more alert. Rambo jumpstarts this by biting your nose. Pain flares into your poor face, and you quickly swipe away the pony. She jumps backwards, safely out of your reach, and giggles. Come on, Ivan, get up. Kinky ass bitch, you mutter, rubbing your nose. Now fully awake, you obey, getting up onto your knees and then sitting back onto your naked ass. Rubbing your eyes, you ask, "How long was I out?" She shrugs. "About an hour. I fell asleep too, so don't worry." At this, she lightly taps you on the nose. "I don't think we are finished." You suddenly find yourself pert and ready for another round. The little Pegasus places a hoof on your chest and slowly pushes you back down onto your back. You suddenly remember a few things from earlier in the night. Before she has you down, you grab her by her sides. She squeaks out of surprise, and you quickly flip her over onto her back. A dull thump sounds, and she begins kicking her legs. "Ivan, what the hell are you doing?" she demands as you keep her on the ground. You pin a hind leg down with your knee so it doesn't buck you, and you place a finger on her lips. "Face it, Rainbow. You know you want this. You've been wanting this for a long time." You lean in close, whispering into her ear. "You told me yourself, remember?" She suddenly ceases to fight, then just lies there, as if frozen. She suddenly shivers, which makes you smile. "Good, my little pet." You put your knee on her hind leg and hold down both of her forelegs, effectively trapping her down. You look down at your prey, her chest heaves up and down, and she stares up at you anxiously, impatiently. You find her navel. Starting there, you look all the way up her belly, her chest, and up the curvature of her neck to her chin. She breathes, shuddering. You look south a bit, and can actually feel the heat radiating off of her wet pussy. It feels good on your rock-hard dick. Slowly and deliberately, you begin rubbing your penis on the outer lips of her slit, eliciting moans from your horny lover. Her tongue lolls out, and she begins to whimper. You feel her legs tensing up from arousal, pushing against yours in an attempt to break free. Boy, if she got out now. Her panting becomes erratic. She begins to pull her legs around and kick them, then arches her back and cries, "Put it in me, please!" You continue your motions. You're actually starting to enjoy this. What was that? "Please, do it," she begs. "I can't take it anymore." You lean down close to her. "And what do you want me to do again?" "Fuck me," she says, a frantic pleading look in her eye. "Run me until I can't stand anymore. Please, I'm begging you." You smile. Good. Your rod nice and soaked from her arousal, you stick it in her, hard and fast. She cries out in an ecstasy, biting her lip as you penetrate further and deeper, until your hips collide with an audible slap. You pull out almost all the way, then ram it in again, causing her to scream. You repeat this over and over again, many times before you start to feel the familiar pressure. You speed up, and with one final thrust, shoot your hot seed into her womb. It's soon after that her walls clench around your stick. Her hips buck up into the air, and juice spills over and begins to run down both of your legs. The two of you collapse, with you still on top of her. You don't pull out, simply enjoying the feeling of being inside your mare, feeling her inner walls continuing to expand and extract. Okay, now it's SFW again, guys. You missed the pony sex, but now you're back for the rest of the story. So let's just continue on then. You run your hand through the little tuft of fur on her chest, playing with the soft feeling between your fingers. When she sees this, she looks up at you and smiles. "Didn't you ask what that was earlier?" You hadn't expected her to say anything. In response to her question, you nod. "Yeah, though your answer last time left me with only a vague idea." She giggles. "Yeah, I remember. Do you still want to know?" You shrug. "Sure." She sighs. "Alright, so I guess the best way to explain this is it's sort of like a mark." "A mark?" "Yeah, a mark that shows that I'm taken, I guess." You smile. "So, kind of like stay the fuck away to the other stallions?" "You could say that." She smirks at your analogy. You feel the little mark again. "I like it. How come I only just noticed it recently?" She raises an eyebrow. "Well, I've had it for months, but I couldn't really grow it out at first because of the whole situation." You chuckle. "Right. Celestia, that was stupid." 2 whole months." She shakes her head. "It's what I get for dating little foals." "Yeah, well, you're a little pony," you retort playfully. She grunts. "This little pony is getting squashed by your skinny ass. Let's move to the bed." You place your hands on the ground, moving your hips so you're off and out of her. You stand and wait for her to do the same. She rolls over onto her belly and gets into position to stand. Only when she tries, her legs quiver, and she's barely able to get up halfway before her hind legs collapse underneath of her. Shouldn't have asked for that, she mutters. You laugh, then scoop her up by her rump and her chest, and start to carry her back to the bed. Wait! She stops you. You wonder what she's doing when she grabs your shirt off the floor and scrunches it up against her face. She smiles at you. Okay, now you can go. What was that? You ask as you place her on the mattress. She takes a whiff of the shirt again. It smells good. It reminds me of you, she says, crawling over the head of the bed to get under the covers. When I'm right here, you remind her. She giggles and hugs you. You hug her back. Together, the two of you fall asleep in each other's embrace. You stare out the window, the moon shining full and bright amidst the dark night, and casting a glint off the forbidden object you hold. The lighting causes the hoof that grips it to become a sickly, pale orange. Were you to be caught with a bottle of beer, the consequences would be dire. You could be kicked out, moved to another orphanage just like you've been your whole life. The only difference being that this time you might end up somewhere meant for ponies your age. Older. Would you really drink it? No. You've seen what alcohol does to ponies. You never want to go down that route. No, you hold this cold bottle for another reason altogether. A question that irks you. You briskly trot down the halls, fighting back tears. Of all ponies to betray you, Rainbow Dash. You stand before one of the hospital rooms. You shake your head, clearing your face of all signs of distress, then push open the door to your father's room. Once inside, you notice the distinct smell that lingers in the air. Something familiar. To you, at least, it smells like fear. Your eyes widen. What you see shakes you to your very core. Hey there, Skidoo, your father says, lowering a bottle of beer from his lips. What's that? You stammer. He looks at you, then what you're looking at. Oh, this? A lady dropped by, gave this to me. That pretty little receptionist, I intended to give her my thanks at some point, if you know what I mean. He suddenly seems concerned. Say, is something wrong, little girl? You wipe your eyes and swallow a lump in your throat. Nothing's wrong. He watches you for a moment. He puts the bottle up to his eyes, then holds it out to you. Here, have some of this. You jump back a little. What? Here, take some. He swirls it around a bit. It'll make you feel better. You stare at the menacing being. You stare long and hard, unmoving. You took it. You didn't drink any, but it seemed to satisfy him. Suddenly, the door to your room opens. A silhouette amidst the burning hall lights casts a long shadow, but the shadow doesn't manage to block the glint that reflects off the bottle on your hooves. And that is the end. The author's note says, a long chapter for the long wait. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, it's been a long wait for you guys for me to read this shit, man. I don't even know. Thanks go to H.W. Rogers for proofreading, and a special thanks to Jazzaman for helping with the cloppy part. Dude, Jazzaman, I know that dude. I used to talk with him on the site, but I don't talk with Brodies anymore. But you know what? I'm going to BronyCon, so it doesn't matter. Hopefully I see you guys at BronyCon. You guys gonna be at BronyCon? Look for Weird Alicorn, because I will be there. What else does it say? Did you know that Clop makes up 2,631 words of this chapter? It was a very long Cloppy section. Edit. By the way, does anyone have any better names for the 69? What do you call it? The twist? Let's do the twist. Man. If someone could think up a better name, then I will retcon face to flank and replace it with whatever clever name you've thought of. Because seriously, me and Jazza are having a hard time. I don't know. What would we call it? What would you call 69ing with pony and human? We call that something clever. I don't know. No one's sticking around. By the way, the story's done, guys. You can go. You can go get on with your lives. Anyway, yeah. This has been Weird Alicorn, and this has been the story And the next chapter will be coming sometime. I don't know. Bye.